Children, December 14th is a Thursday. Should be an interesting class here in a moment. We're going to talk about that. We are doing a discussion day tomorrow. It's going to be a little bit different than the ones we've done before because I want to try and experiment tomorrow. Hoping it works well. Might not. That's how experiments go, but I have faith. And then we'll go forth from there. Hi, Cameron.
I know what was spelled wrong.
What was it?
One.
It's correct. That's one of the two things.
Juan? Oh, that's what I called Julian. Juan.
Yeah. Good. One days, because it's doing one day. So I was just trying to be creative with my one days.
Oh, you spelled it.
I just spelled one days.
Oh.
That was it. Trying not to judge. So as far as tomorrow goes with the idiom, if you don't turn it in, it does cost you 3 B points, and then the highest grade you can get is the 7 out of 10. So I figured I would show you, this is how I plan to grade it when you turn them in. You will give them to me beginning of class tomorrow. If you follow the directions, and your idiom is a good one, I plan on giving you 10 or more points out of 10. My goal is to give you a 10, as long as you have followed directions and your idiom is strong. If you are directions optional, and you're like, directions require reading, but at least the idiom definitions make sense, but you didn't follow the other directions, I can give you a 7 out of 10. If you don't want to follow directions at all, and your idiom's kind of hooey, then I can give you a 5 out of 10 as long as you turn it in. So these are the different grades. I'm planning on giving you a 5, 7, or 10 or higher. It's possible to get an 8 or 9, depending on some of the mistakes that get in there. Same thing with the 6. But my goal is to give you a 10 unless you don't want the 10. And then you convince me not to because of directions and stuff like that. If you want me to look at yours, bring it to me at the end of class and go, hey, what's wrong here? And I can look at it and go, hey, you're missing this, or hey, fix this. I'm happy to help you. You can send me a remind later tonight and say, hey, is there anything I need to fix on this? And I can go, hey, change this. I'm happy to try and help you. Or just let it be a surprise and show up tomorrow. Questions from there? Yeezys? Yeezys. All right. Again, just showing you picture of this is what I'm looking for. Your artwork does not have to be spectacular. Just making sure that you can follow the directions and put things in, and it should be good. How close are we in this class? Are we almost out of people? We are almost out of people. How many people do we have? Ooh. And let's see, this kid. So that gives me, that kid's not even here. That kid's not here. That kid is here. That kid's here. We down to 3 people left. So let's have our last 3 people go, because the other kids are dead anyway. Wait, unless one of them wants to volunteer. Nope.
Have I already gone?
You have. Sharier, oh, hang on, let's go to this one. Sharier. Then to there, and
What was that name?
I don't know. So, after yesterday, going through and doing the Annabel Lee poem, I had struggles in some of my classes where I ended the day frustrated. And I considered coming in today and being all yelly and grumpy. Then I figured I'm not a yelly, grumpy person. So I decided to go a different direction. I want to have a little mini discussion and sort of ask a question to you guys and explain my thoughts and sort of see if I'm in the right direction on things. From conversations I've had with you guys, you've talked about teaching styles, as in how I teach versus how other teachers teach. And the fact that mine is mostly like me up, telling stories, having conversations with you guys, letting you talk and interact, versus sitting and doing worksheets, handouts, and not letting you guys do stuff. And from what I can pick up on, you guys seem to enjoy the way I do things in class. Problem is, yesterday was the day where I saw the benefit to making kids sit and do a handout or worksheet. Because I got frustrated as I was trying to do a poem that in the past kids have told me they really enjoyed, and it was one that I should keep doing, but kids kept interrupting me and making it tough to get through. And I was like, you know what kids can't interrupt? Having to sit and do a worksheet. But if I made you sit and do a worksheet, I would die on the inside, because that is just not who I am. So instead I was like, why don't I just talk to you guys and explain what my thinking is. I think part of it is you guys are adjusting to my teaching style. In the fact that you've not had this type of teaching style previous to this year, I think is way different than what you guys have had. And from talking to my classes this year, most of your classes this year are not like how my class is. And as a kid, to use a metaphor, I had a kid explain it to me earlier, you guys are sort of like in a desert all day where you don't get to talk to people and you have to like just sit at your desk and do nothing. And then you get to my class and you finally get a chance to have personality and talk to people and you kind of explode, and then you have to go back to other classes where it's a desert again. So like this is your one oasis where you get to interact, which personally I think is awesome because that's how I think teaching should be. I think you should get to interact. I like you guys talking and interacting. My only issue comes in when I'm trying to teach or tell a story and you guys keep interrupting me. And I think it's because you guys are just adjusting to not being able to just blurt out, and the fact that you guys are kind of excited to get to talk in my room. I don't like charging B points at all. I like B points because I think it teaches you guys responsibility. It's the only reason I have B points, because I think it gives you guys that immediate feedback, and I like to see you guys become better people. So my question is, how do I find a balance with you guys? I don't want to be mean and yelling. I don't want to charge you points all the time, but I want to be able to get through a poem like Annabel Lee that kids in the past have enjoyed and told me I should keep without having to stop and like take breaks to yell at kids. It doesn't necessarily apply to you guys as much, which is why I'm recording you again, because I have fewer issues in this class, which I know might surprise you, because you look around this class and go, we have issues every day in here. I agree, and it's still better than some of my other classes. So, is what I'm doing working? Is it make sense? Do I need to change things? My hope is that just by telling you guys my thoughts, that maybe you guys can do a better job of not interrupting. So as an example, Emery, to use you as an example out there. I like Emery. I think you're a solid kid. I think you're way smarter than you give yourself credit for. But part of what my class is about is learning responsibility. The reason I am as mean to Emery, or with others as I am, is because I have faith in you and I want to see that responsibility. And so that's why I try to hold you responsible to make you become the person I see you being. So is what I'm doing working? So I guess that's my question to you. Or are you guys just scared and staring at me now? That was not You're not scared.
super cord.
He has in his
Oh my God!
Oh
I'm gonna have to agree. The one nostril is one thing, but you're gonna have to start pulling out some of your art from that area. So like as an example, let's use that as an example for that. One of the things I had kids point out to me yesterday was that kids act differently in my class than they act in other classes.
I would say that in front of Miss
Not that, but how maybe super core behave. I have a kid in one of my other classes who's kind of spazzy in my room, and the kids called him out and said, "You're never like this in other kids' classes. Why are you spazzy in his class?" And one of the things I've learned over the years is that kids behave different in my classes than other classes all the time. And I think from what kids have told me is because it's a couple different things. Sometimes it's kids feel safe in my room. In the fact of to be able to be who you are and not have a teacher give you an automatic detention. Where like that in some classes would be a detention automatically. In my class, I'm just like, dude, just cut it out. And so I'm fine with you guys or kids acting differently in my class, whether you are more verbal, whether you're strange, whether you're whatever you are, because I want my class to be a place where you feel safe to do stuff like that, as weird as it may be. Gia?
Okay, so I think like you can't take this the wrong way, but I
Yeah.
think like the way we like feel like be able to like be ourselves because like you can be kind of weird sometimes. We
Absolutely.
feel bad for like being like ourselves.
It's honestly, that's why I do it. That's why I was a weird kid. And so I felt for a long time I had to squish my weirdness down. And when I got older, I was like, why? As I got older, I started realizing the more I embraced who I was, the more I got along with people. And so I want to create a room where kids can feel free to be weird. One of the things I've been liked about my room is the fact that I have those kids who are super popular get along in my room, and those kids who feel super outcast get along in my room. I have both of those groups of kids who will come talk to me. And I don't think that happens often. And I like that about my room. And I'm perfectly fine with kids being weird and being like, this is the place where you can. Because I don't think kids often have a place where they have that. And so I want that. But I also want to be able to, I really, really love teaching. I love what I do. I love the fact that I get to come in and spend the day with you guys. I didn't like yesterday because it made me grumpy having to get interrupted, but I still like teaching. I really enjoy it. And so I like finding ways to make it work with you guys and watching you guys become better people. I like watching you guys become more responsible and better versions of yourself. And I've already seen that from the first week of school to here. You guys are already more responsible, better kids, more settled, more sane than you used to be. And I like seeing that side of you. Are you raising your hand still?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, what's up?
I was just gonna say, I feel like, I kind of like the B points thing, cause like, you could do like something bad in like this class, and you just like lose B points, or have to do a Simpson sheet. But in like a different class, we'd just like get a detention, or just get in trouble, and then the teacher wouldn't like you. But like, even if we're bad kids in here, I feel like you don't hold that against.
Absolutely. I'm the same way. It's one of those things where I treat you the way you behave. Like right now, kid in hallway, next week, when she has points and is in my room, I will treat her just as I treat everybody else. Because I treat you how you are treating me. Just like when you're there, I treat you that way. So I feel the same way. I agree with you. With the B points, by the way, because I have kids who freak out about like the loss of points. Like Charter having to buy a new purple piece of paper that he's already tearing. So, worst case scenario, you lose B points in my class. What happens?
You get them back.
You get them back. Before that happens.
Wait, we get 15 at the end of the break? Batty, that means I'll have like 30 something.
But so let's say Emery loses her B points, goes down to 5 or less. What do I do to you?
You go to
Struggle
the
time.
Correct. If she ends up going all the way down to 0, what's going to happen?
Detention.
Detention. How many detentions have I given you guys this year?
0.
So will I give a detention? Absolutely. If Emery does not do this thing and she gets down to 0, will I give her a detention? Yes. Is it because I don't like her? No, I like Emery. I think she's a fun kid. But I need you to see that there are repercussions for your actions, because I think that didn't happen last year, that there weren't repercussions for actions. But I've changed how I teach. Like, I used to give more detentions than any other teacher in the school. I used to lead all of teachers in detentions until my kids came to junior high. And when my own 2 children came to junior high and had mental meltdowns and freaked out, I changed how I taught. And I decided that instead of giving the detentions, I would try to help kids change behaviors and how you behave versus just giving a detention. So my goal is to help you avoid a detention as much as possible until you force my hand.
Hey, don't you still have one that you filled out for me? Where'd you put that? You still
See?
have, oh, you still have it. Can I throw that away?
At the end of the year, if you want to shred that thing and dance on the paper, absolutely.
Okay.
And honestly, it might even happen second semester. When you show me that you can go a long period of time where I no longer have to threaten you, I will happily let you shred that thing and dance on it.
Batty.
But till then, and you keep reminding me that I need to have it, we're not quite there yet. But yeah, all right. So that's like, so here's as an example. With the poemy thing that we started going through, I know you guys are learning in my class, and I feel strong with it. As an example, all right, where is this poem taking place?
Indicated by the
Who are the 2 characters?
Annabel and Jim.
First line of the poem, what is it a reference to?
Tail.
So I don't even have to reteach this. I can just pop it up there. I know you guys are learning. It's why I love what I do. You guys are smart, and you guys are learning a thing, and you guys are responding. I just want to be able to get through the end of the story and be able to tell stories to you and enjoy a thing. It's like next week, not to freak you out, we have 2 tests in my class next week because we have semester exams, which I have no control over, but the semester exam is the same one every 7th grader has to take. It is not about stories, it's about the semester exam is going to be like, do you know what internal conflict is? Can you explain a theme in a story? Can you figure out what a simile is? So it's stuff like, I have full faith in you figuring out. I can tell you right now why you guys won't do well on that test if you don't do well. It's the same reason you don't do well on any of my tests, which is,
You don't study.
yeah, the directions. Because this is going to require you to read things on this test. And some of you are going to go, ding, 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 and then just start hitting things, and then go, what, I failed. And I go, did you read it? And you go, some of it. I don't even make you read anything ahead of time. It's just a matter of reading it. There's also a poetry test next week. That one I am going to make you read 3, I think either 2 or 3 poems. But one of them's a long poem, but it's a really easy kid poem. And I figure you can read a really easy kid poem like a dancing dragon. And there's a short poem, like really short, but it's tougher. So I'm going to try to make you a tough poem. And there's like a little in-between. It's like the 3 Little Bears of poems. And there's like a little in-between poem. And then I'm also going to do the review game with the buzzers next week. Because I think that helps you guys remember and learn things. So I'm going to try and bring that back to you also. But I don't worry about you guys learning stuff in here. I just want to be able to get through a class without being mean to you. Yeah.
This semester, do you need a study guide? Because we did not all the other classes.
For this, I can take a look at it. For the most part, the study guide is just going to be, do you know? Yeah, I'll do it. It's just, again, characters, setting, plot, and there's going to be similes, like that's all it is. Like it's literally just making sure you remember these big, like foreshadowing. Remember foreshadowing?
Yeah.
That's what it is. It's that thing the things I keep beating into you over and over again. There's a question about irony. Remember when we did irony and you have to do like that's what it is. Things that I keep bringing up and beating into you that you guys know, you guys will do fine on it. So, the only kids that you'll struggle on it was because it requires reading and thinking. And sometimes you guys just get tired of reading and thinking. So, anyway. All right. So then, my goal is, I'm going to try and we might not finish poem. Oh wait. To go to the semester exam. What do you call the boring beginning part?
Exposition.
So in poem, we're still in the exposition part. What comes after exposition? We're going to get to the rising action in a moment. And then the most exciting part? That's not until stanza 6. And trust me, it's something I want to get to. The climax is why kids keep telling me I have to teach this poem because of what happens in it. Hold on. We'll get there.
Oh, why is the climax in the last?
You see why is the climax?
This one?
I said, why is the climax in the last stanza?
Oh, I don't know. Edgar Allan Poe's a weird guy. Edgar Allan Poe was never one for the boring stuff at the end. He was always like, you get to the excitement, and then you just end the story. Like, almost all of his stories are always like, crazy, 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 done.
What's the most famous thing he's written?
The Raven was one, and Telltale Heart.
Wait, can I see what he looks like?
He's got, you know what a forehead is? He's got like a 25 head.
So he's a forehead face.
Hey,
Yeah.
I have a 6 head.
Yeah, like
Wait, what's
his
name?
forehead starts here and like ends here.
Gotcha.
Just every time you see a picture of him, it is something.
He sounds so familiar.
Wait, now I really want to look up a
Yeah,
picture.
no, I do too.
Really fast, really fast.
Right.
Ed.
I mean, no.
It's on
It's,
the paper.
Oh my! What the fuck?
Open it.
He looks like
Yo, he looks like my grandpa.
he looks like a Nazi.
Oh.
Yeah,
Hey,
totally.
we look alike.
Why do you look like that?
Are you holding up a picture of you? I don't get it.
Oh!
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 Oh my god, that's scary.
That poor
Or
man.
It's not that big.
Depends on the picture you see.
It looks like the same kind of mom. I've seen a person's forehead that's
How many
bigger.
Nazis do you hang out with?
Here.
So, alright.
I don't know.
Back to poemy things so I can get to the good part. We got through this. When it says I was a child and she was a child just means
They were younger, like 20s.
15s, 13,
17.
late teenagery. We got to the love with the love that was more than love. And
Yeah.
Love.
and they look at each other, little love bubbles. Ooh.
And
What
then-
is this? What's a seraph?
Angel.
So, like, here's the question I would put on a test. We know that seraphs are angels. If you did not know, there are 2 clues in the poem that would tell you.
Their wings and their head.
There you go. Like, that's what I want you to get. Like, that's the kind of stuff I know you can figure out. I'm like, if I just tell you, like, what are the 2 clues, you're like, oh, I know they're figured out. So go, oh. And we talked about covet.
Jealous.
All right. Now, We did not read
Now they get mad.
stanza 3 yet.
No, I can't.
Stanza
We
three
got-
was
yeah,
really
we
good.
got-
we
we
got
got
there.
We got partway
You know
through.
the
Okay.
sculpture is like the place for the old
Hey,
people
I actually
go.
watched
It's
the
like
video.
the-
Alright, let's pay attention. Nicely done. So then, let's see. What is the sepulcher then?
The place for like old.
Oh, it's like the
not old people.
Oh,
Dead
yeah.
people.
It's like the mausoleum. It's a mausoleum.
Nice. Yeah. Technically, there are some old people in there, but I mean, sometimes young people are there.
Oh.
Sorry, did you not know what happens to young people too?
Okay.
Did we talk about
Family.
kinsmen?
Family.
Yeah.
Family. Highborn?
The rich
royalty.
people.
Nicely done.
Stop it.
Because they're
So,
born in the high.
oh,
High.
there is, we talked about what season is taking place?
Spring. Early spring, right?
That was the other poem.
Oh.
Which you like, see, remembering. There is evidence in this stanza as to what season it's like.
Oh, it's by the
early-
sea, so
it's
it's
in the
summer.
middle.
It's by the oh wait,
It's
that's
in the middle. I just remember
Okay.
it's
Hang on one second.
oh, it's a wind, a cloud. No, stop. It's a wind of blue cloud or a cloud of wind. Oh,
That's why she
wind
died.
blew out of a cloud, chilling, so it's cold, so it's winter.
That's what I'm looking for.
And then she
So
It
died.
just took me a second.
Yeah, I know, because only the summertime has oceans. And so the fact that it has the chilling means it's like fall, winter, maybe early spring, somewhere in that coldy time. Cameron?
Can I go fill up our water since I already have a party?
Yeah, that's fine. I'm fine. I can agree to that. So with that one, we find out, so if she has her family put her into a sepulcher,
She's dead.
she's dead.
She'd be dead.
What in the poem has killed her?
The
wind.
So
Cause
with this
she's
one,
thought, oh, his love will keep me up. No, he won't. Dum dum.
did we get to that with you? I don't think we got with that with you guys.
She's
That was
dead.
on the video, so you're a little bit ahead. You get to hear the story again real quick.
Yeah.
Stop trying to learn, Stella.
My bad.
And so here, the wind that kills her is not from like a hurricane. Chloe?
Like, what if but her, like, what is it, lover?
Dude.
God.
Yeah, but it says my beautiful Annabelle. Cause like, what if he's like in it and like saying like, oh my beautiful Annabelle?
What if he is the
like,
wind?
well, she's dead.
It's like, what if he's like, well, at this point, he's still like talking because he still misses her because, you know.
She'd be dead.
No, I
She
mean, like, he's like,
lives.
he's
She'd be
like,
getting mummified.
Good use of your your Egyptian mythology
We
from
learned that
this.
today.
I
I'm
know.
actually so smart.
It's so
Yeah.
Oh, please don't.
And then she
that
started
freaked
turning
me
on
out.
Sorry, Chloe, I didn't mean to
Okay.
distract you. That was my
No,
fault.
but he's like visiting her. 'Cause, like,
In the
he says
sepulchre.
like, my beautiful Annabelle.
Hold that thought. We're gonna come back to that in a moment.
Look at you, Chloe.
I know. So on this one, this is the thing that Stella was making referencing thing to. How old are Annabelle and Dude? Teenager. Do teenagers make good choices?
No.
Good job. And so here, I have to use my imagination to sort of fill into what happens in the story. So you have Annabelle and Dude. They're in love. They want to be romantic. Go for a walk along the beach. And so when they go for the walk along the beach, it's wintry time. What are Mama and Papa Lee going to tell her to do?
A jacket.
Put on a jacket.
She did not.
Because she is a
His love
teenager,
will keep
and
her
teenagers
warm.
don't. So my guess is here's Dude, being the romantic guy he is, would say, hey, my love will keep you warm. And she would be like, aw, and like little chest tappies.
And then she died.
And then, yeah, eventually while they're out there, the wind would then start to blow, and she starts to cough, and that's where like pneumonia or some kind of fever comes
And then
in,
she just disintegrated.
and
right
then
then
she
and there.
just dies. Problem is, well, a lot of problems, how does Dude feel about her?
He loves
He
her.
Loves her. He does not.
Kill himself.
And who might be a little bit responsible for her death?
Him.
Because he probably didn't have her wear a coat. So this
If
is
he really
where
loved her, he would say, oh, you need to go.
we get to the rising action. Turns out, according to Dude, the wind that killed her was not an accident.
Oh.
There's a conspiracy
It was
to kill
the
his
people.
woman.
It was the angels.
Let's.
No. They are petty.
Oh, she'd be dead.
She did it.
Dead. Who's my stanza 4?
Me.
Go for it, stanza 4.
The angels, not half so happy in heaven, went envying put in me. Yes, that was the reason, as all men know in this kingdom by listening, that the wind came out of the cloud by night, chilling and killing my Annabelle.
Nice
Not chilling
done.
and killing.
Chilling it. So the way I read this stanza is going to be a little different than Ben, but I think you might pick up on something as I read it.
Maybe devil.
The angels, not half so happy in heaven, went envying her and me. Yeah, that was the reason, as all men know in this kingdom by the sea, that the wind came out of the cloud by night, chilling and killing my Annabel Lee.
Oh, he'd be psycho.
So our problem is,
That's
he's
a lot different than Men's
starting to lose connection with reality and going a little on the crazy
Keep it
side.
going with the devils.
His thinking is,
Ooh, that girl.
the wind that killed his woman was not an accident. Where did the wind come from?
The angel.
The angels.
The devil.
And so he believes the angels essentially tried to 360 no-scope his woman and take her out and kill her off. Now, why would the angels do this?
Because they just want to love.
Now, the question comes up, well then, why wouldn't the angels kill both of them?
Because
they wanted to love the
they want him
boys.
to suffer.
Because if they killed both of them and Annabelle Lee and Dude go up to heaven,
They wouldn't even know that they don't have each other.
there you
They'd
go.
have
They
each
would
other
be
in the
mummified
afterlife.
together.
And they have to
They'd be
separate
buried
them.
together.
Plus, thinking, remember, angels are evil, horrible creatures that try to kill people off. Now, for most of you, you should go, Mr. Brovicast, angels aren't evil, horrible people. That's because you're a sane person. He, not so much on the sane area. He's to the point where he's like, the angel. So this part, where he's going, that was the reasons all men know in this kingdom by the sea. He's now walking around his village, telling everybody, the angels, they're going to kill your women. The angels, they're coming for you. You got to watch out for the angels. Don't worry about the... And everyone's like, yeah. And people are like, hey, you're a little on the crazy side. He's like, that's what the angels want. And so, now the issue is, in theory, he's a teenager, so eventually what will happen with him and people he loves? Well, actually, back up. Since she's gone, what are people going to tell him now that she's gone?
You're crazy. Oh, wait, no.
So,
She wasn't really.
let's say you're your age and your special someone breaks up with you and you get all sad. What are your parents going to tell you?
You'll find someone new.
There you go. So that's what people are going to tell him. Hey, there's plenty of fish in the sea. You're going to find somebody new. Don't you worry about it. The problem is, those people don't know what they're talking about, according to him. Because it turns out the angels weren't working by themselves. The angels had help to kill his woman. Cameron!
All the girls.
They just belong together.
Like it, whenever you were like walking around, like about like the crazy person, it kind of reminded me whenever I went to go visit my grandpa.
Oh, here we go.
So he was like in a
Your
like
her
rehab
grandpa?
facility because he like something happened with his foot.
And his guy's gonna be wrong.
Shush. And there's like insane people there because it's like like yeah and yeah.
Shush.
And then so like he's like
Focus.
he's like walking and then some girl walks over and I guess she goes into his room at night, like not like only at night, and like she'll break into his room and like take his stuff.
Wait, you're talking about a real story?
And then so then he said she came around and then she was just like talking to herself, and then my grandpa thought that she was
So are you telling me a story about a crazy person?
yeah, and then and then the girl said, don't make me hit me with your cane again.
Tomorrow, we are going to get discussion, but we're going to take about 5 minutes to get to the fun part of the story because class is over and now we have to be done. Now you can pack up without me having to be grumpy at you. Thank you for letting me teach today. I enjoyed it. You guys are kind of fun.